that started it all for the Spice Girls coming up and Calvin Harris. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 3 o'clock. This is Claire Ronacres. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, unveiled his first budget, aiming to encourage people who are not in work back into employment. He said there would be funding for schools in England to provide wraparound childcare outside the school day from September. And from April next year, the government-funded scheme of 30 hours free childcare will start to be expanded to include younger preschoolers of between 9 months and 2 years. But Paul Johnson, who's the director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, thinks the measures will only have a limited impact.
The childcare package is expected only to get a few tens of thousands more mothers mostly back into work. That's obviously uncertain, but we know that actually a lot of people don't even take up what they're entitled to for 3 and 4 year olds. So some of that won't happen. Some of that will just leave people better off, which they'll clearly be pleased about.
The government has already announced that help on gas and electricity bills will continue until the end of June. Fuel duty's been frozen for another year, while the duty on draft pints is also to be frozen. People drinking at home will see tax on other alcohol soar by 10.1% in August, in line with inflation. Mr Hunt said the economy was on track to avoid a recession and that inflation was expected to fall to 2.9% by the end of this year. However, official forecasts say the UK will see the biggest 2-year fall in living standards since records began in 1956 to 57, with a drop of 5.7% between 2022 and 2024. In response, the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said the budget was dressing up stagnation as stability. The budget was announced against the backdrop of widespread public sector strikes in England. John Glenn, who's the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, said he believed a lot of progress was being made on resolving the various disputes.
I understand with inflation at over 10% at the start of this year, people felt the pressure, and that's why it's really good that inflation is going down, because of the disciplined approach we're taking to our public finances and the way that we're managing the economy. And I think that a lot of workforces will be very pleased that inflation is going to go actually below the target of 2% next year as well.
Among those taking action today are junior doctors, civil servants, local BBC staff, London Underground workers and teachers. Siobhan O'Gorman is a primary school teacher on a picket line in Leeds.
The workload that is really pushing people out of the profession is the workload beyond the classroom, the mental health work that we're doing with children, the child protection work that we're doing with children. Teachers are leaving in droves, and it's not because they don't care, it's because they just can't take it anymore.
A man's appearing in court today charged in connection with a drive-by shooting outside a church near Euston Station in central London. 4 women and 2 girls were injured. Alrico Nelson Martin, who's 19 and from Kilburn, is charged with possession of a shotgun with intent to endanger life and 6 counts of conspiracy to wound with intent. BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 3.
This is Scott Mills. BBC Radio.